Hi, welcome to the Gamesplainer. I'm Jeff the Gamesplainer, and today I'm gamesplaining Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle. If you've watched my other video, you'll know the basics of how to play Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle. So I'm just going to have a game. I've set it up for 2 players, Hermione on the left and Harry on the right. I've dealt out their starting 5 cards, and I've turned over our initial villain. So let's start the game. First thing we do is we check there's only 1 card to come out from there. We won't need to check that every time. It's just as you go into later games, you will need to double check that. The first card we turn over is an event that causes the active hero to lose two lives. So Hermione is our active hero, being the first player, so she loses 2 hearts there. And Quirrell will cause her to lose 1 more heart. So straight away Hermione is down to 7 life. Now looking at her deck, she's got 1, 2, 3, 4 that are all the same, that will gain her influence. So she's got 4 influence. They can come out of the way. And then this item. So she gets to choose either gain 2 or all heroes gain 1. Now that decision is an interesting one. She currently has 4 influence. Looking at what she can purchase, if she took the 2, she would be able to grab one of these Incendio cards, which will allow her to attack once and draw a card. And she could also grab this one, which will give life to any hero. When it says any one hero, that can include herself. So she might do that. She will take the 2 for herself, because realistically, 5 influence isn't going to do her any good. So she puts that into a discard pile, and then she's going to spend 1, 2, 3, 4 of those influence to purchase Incendio, and she'll use the other 2 to purchase this item. We then turn over the next 2 cards, filling up our space. Hermione will deal herself another 5 cards, which is all of these, and it's now Harry's turn. So Harry turns over the first Dark Arts card. All heroes lose 1 heart and cannot draw extra cards this turn. So all heroes lose 1 heart. That limits him to losing 1 heart for each card, so he still loses his 1. Hermione will also lose her 1. That could be a problem. Quirrell will then cause Harry to lose 1 more heart. And let's see what we can do. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 influence straight away. And now I've got a decision to make, whether I use the attack or go for the heart. I think at the moment nothing has been attacked, so I think there's actually a lot of importance in Harry attacking at the moment. Even though he could use the extra life, he's still at 8, so he's okay, but he's going to use that attack. So these now get used. So first up, the attack goes against Quirrell. He's got 1 there, 5 more to take him out. And then we've got 4 influence. The card that's drawing my attention is Hagrid, because Hagrid will give him the attack and all heroes, which means both of them will gain hearts back whenever he comes through the deck. So let's spend our 4 on that. Harry will then deal himself his next 5 cards, refill up the stock of cards available to us. Now it's Hermione's turn. She's the active player. So she, active hero, loses 1 heart and discards a card. That could be a problem. So loses 1 and has to choose one of these cards to get rid of. 1, 2, 3, 4. It really needs to be able to use this one. So we're going to get rid of one of these spells. Just get out of the way because we have to. Quirrell will cause her to lose another heart. She's going to use Hedwig to gain 2 hearts back. And then she'll gain 3 influence. And any spells that she purchases this turn will go on the top of her deck, which means it'll be the first one out next turn. So with her 3 influence, she can afford to get the item at the top, which will gain attacks and hearts. She can't afford those 2. That one's the same as that one. That one's the same as that. All she can afford to get is the attacks and hearts item, so she'll take that for 3 influence. That goes onto the discard pile. She pays the influence, and these get shuffled up. Now you notice that she's just dealt herself one of those cards that she picked up last turn. So as you can see, this is called deck building. There's another one that she picked up last turn. It's called deck building because your deck is going to gradually get stronger the longer you play. That's interesting. We're going to need to work towards picking him up. He looks fairly powerful, but he's going to cost a lot of influence. So we're going to have to work hard to get a lot more influence into our deck. Okay, it's Harry's turn. So he turns over the next Dark Arts card, and we've got to add a token to the location. One token onto the location. Professor Quirrell then causes him to lose another heart. Now we gain 1 attack. If we defeat a villain this turn, he'll gain an influence, but I don't think we're going to defeat one this turn. And then there's 4 other influence for those cards to go back into the discard pile. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And we can purchase another one of these spells, which will help with being able to get more cards into hand. So that costs all 4 of them. And this one goes over onto Quirrell. We then restock the available cards. This one allows you to gain hearts if you defeat a villain, as well as giving you some more attack. Okay, it's now Hermione's turn, so let's turn the next Dark Arts card. Once again, we get another add to the location. Quirrell will cause her to lose another heart. Now Crookshank is back, which allows her to grab 2 more life back, but we really need to be starting to hit him. So she's going to actually take the attack this time. Anyone here who gains 2 hearts, she's going to give that to herself. Gain 1 attack and draw a card. So we'll gain an attack and draw another card. And then we've got 3 influence tokens, and if one of them that we purchase is a spell, it goes to the top of the deck rather than the discard pile. 3 influence. All that we can afford is either Oliver Wood or another one of the Quidditch gears. The Quidditch gear is probably a more benefit at the moment because it always will give 1 heart back. We're not really defeating enough villains for this card to be as useful at the moment. Okay, then these 2 attacks go against Quirrell. We're up to 4 now. So we deal out the next 5 cards for Hermione. Refill the track. This allows us to choose, having these ones that give us 2 influence, that's how we're going to build up to being able to get Dumbledore. Okay, it's now Harry's turn. So another Dark Arts card comes out. Active hero loses 2 hearts. That could be a problem. So he doesn't have the Cloak of Invisibility that he had earlier, so he loses the 2. Quirrell causes him to lose 1 more heart, 1 more life, so he's getting fairly low on the life points now. This one's add an attack and draw a card. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 influence. What can we get for 5 influence? There is nothing we can get for 5 influence. We're going to have to only get a 4 influence. Let's see how this goes. This will allow everyone to draw an extra card. So he's used 4 influence. He has 1 left over, but we can't hang on to that from turn to turn, so he has to get rid of that, and that's a wasted influence. Then this 1 attack goes against Quirrell. That puts us up to 5. We need 6, so 1 more attack, and Quirrell will be dead. We now restock the cards. The new Dark Arts card comes out. It's lose another 2 for our active hero, so she's down to 5, and then Quirrell causes her to lose 1 more. That could be a problem. So what can Hermione do? She has 1, 2, 3, 4 influence available to her. She can make that into 6 or take it as 5, and Harry gets 1. Having a look at the board, there's not much she can do with 5 or 6, so it makes more sense for her to just take the 1 extra and Harry take the 1 extra. And the 4 for those. Those cards go to the discard pile. Okay, with the 5 influence, she's only going to be able to use 3 or 4 of them, so she might bulk up and use the 4 to grab this one. She's left with 1, but can't hang on to that for the next turn. So refill the stock, deal out the next 5 cards. Now, because she's only dealt 2, which means we shuffle up the discard pile, deal that over to the 5. Once again, it's now Harry's turn. So we start with a Dark Arts card. Add 1 marker to the location. This is problematic because we've now got 3. As soon as we get the 4th, that location is gone. That will take 1 more heart from Harry. He's down to 3 hearts. We're in trouble almost. Okay, so gain one attack. If the defeat a villain, which we're going to, that's going to give him 1 more influence. He's going to take the 2 hearts on this because he doesn't need another attack. He pushes those hearts up. Gain 1 more lightning, and all heroes gain a heart. So Harry gains 1 heart, Hermione gains 1 heart, then gain 2 more influence. Those cards have all been used. I'll put that one on top to remind me about that extra influence. I'll just put a token there so I remember. We now throw these lightning across to our villain. That's gone up to 7, which is okay because that's more than Quirrell needs for 6. We can't hang on to that for next turn. We don't know what that next villain is. So they all get removed. Quirrell is now dead. All heroes gain 1 influence and 1 heart. So 1 influence for Hermione, 1 influence for Harry, and we each gain 1 heart. Harry now spends his influence. He now has 4, plus the 1 for killing a villain. He now has 5. Those 5 can purchase him a 3 and a 2. Might be worthwhile. He might take this one, which will gain him 2 more influence, and he can get this one that's worth 2. And it's just gain 1 influence, but it put items on your draw deck rather than your discard pile. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I think you can see how the game runs and how it flows. I've done pretty much everything that happened. The further you go into the game, obviously, the stronger your deck becomes. So you're looking for a deck that's strong enough to be able to get the really strong cards, which will be able to defeat the villains. And that's really the choices that you've got. I hope this helps you get Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle to the table. If you've got any comments or suggestions, please write them below. If you have any games that you wish to be Gamesplaned, please shoot me an email at thegamesplainer@gmail.com. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at thegamesplainer to see what games I've been playing. Follow my blog, thegamesplainer.wordpress.com, to read about my adventures in gaming each week. Subscribe to my videos to keep up to date with the games that I'm gamesplaining, and until next time, enjoy gaming.